Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm not from the lab team, so please apologize for any technical terms. So start mostly with the IT terms. So, so as a background, we actually started this journey, I believe, Dion, a couple of years ago, especially. So we do have a pipeline of around 8 to 10 sites, which we are continuously kind of migrating from the in-house labs onto kind of CCLAS. So with that being said, we actually have implemented already one iron ore and one lithium site as of now, and we're doing the big famous Onslow, which is pretty much in the media nowadays at currently. So with today, I'll be also be assisted with one of my colleague Lan as well, who will be pretty much showing the interesting part. I'll finish off the boring part first and then go with the team. So actually have a kind of distributed the agenda as the problem statement. So pretty much what we had issues with different labs, why we went with C-class, then pretty much a small rundown on how we selected the product, and then pretty much what we learned during the deployment process, and then the reporting side, which is pretty much C-class, and also the mine market, which is again a data mine product. And I'm not sure CHT, the term we use it for the central database. That's actually for the fun part for reporting, which the managers always need and always chase us. Oh, sorry. And then we go from there, and then finally some conclusion there. Okay, so the first problem statement, we actually have a bunch of customized spreadsheet, as everyone aware, on each of the sites. It's not ideal, but thanks to Excel, we keep on creating new versions, and especially we get calls over the weekend, the macro has broken, the file doesn't work, especially when there's an update being set up by Microsoft. So that's pretty much, and then the version control, as I mentioned, everyone has a copy on their desktop, site drive, etc. So we actually had to come up to solve that issue. Then accountability. Now, as I mentioned, for audit purposes, especially when the managers are after, and like Mark said, people keep leaving the company, so we don't have the version control of the latest file, and we have to start from scratch. Standardization issues, as such, we said is like there's no standard reports. Everyone has got a different version, different template across each lithium site or iron ore site. So having a standard format. And then time-consuming operations, like Graham mentioned, sometimes we need the results or the output as soon as possible. Especially we have got very angry site people who sometimes don't even say hi. So we have to actually so we actually have to kind of deal with that. So we know that end. And sometimes the calls do come early as 5 o'clock in the morning. So you just have to be prepared all the time. So there, and then staff onboarding. So on that, some of the other thing which I think some other products voice might be Dion is maybe looking into an LMS module. I'm not sure how actually good that will be, because that's some of the other products which we use is kind of an LMS one. I know it's very particular to certain labs, but yeah, that's something which do. So we kind of, for our deployments, we have made side of a YouTube videos, especially how to change a ribbon for a printer, because yeah, that sometimes do come in handy. So rather than having a notes, just create them a video. So that's some of the things which we have shown. I'll share most next one. And then yeah, so this is pretty much how we went with the C-class. So first of all, we actually have got a lot of lab staff which already know C-class, which actually was a good blessing because that made our life easy to select the product. And then having internal capabilities of BAU. So Lan actually leads the app support, who will be taking the next part of the slide. So he actually has got a good team and also kind of experience with mine market with Datamine as well. So that helps. And then pretty much how we do is we have got an internal team. So I am from the operational technology team, and we do have the BAs and also team who kind of go ahead and deploy, and then we engage Datamine. So it's not like Datamine all, it's like a partnership between us and them. So that the kind of the knowledge stays within house as well, and then we can leverage the support. Phased approach, like I mentioned, we are doing one site at a time. So we did iron ore site, and then currently we just finished one for lithium, and now we're doing the big one at Onslow. The one which we are looking ahead is for next year, which is the mindset, which has got a bit of automation with the system from Spot. So actually Spot automation side. So that's actually kind of a semi-automatic lab that will be fun to deal with. And so that's the next part we're looking ahead for. And then pretty much we actually have to always go for the next one, like the focus proof. So we have to always show why C-class. So with Mount Marion, the last lithium site, there was a lot of samples being sent for external. Sorry, SGS. We actually saw some of the pricing. So by doing it in-house, there was kind of considerable savings as well, which actually dealt with. But still, we use SGS as a validation exercise to find what's the savings and what is our record, is our ratings accurate as well. And then we do have integration with other business applications. Now we actually are also kind of started doing Industry 4.0 trial, which pretty much is kind of a common platform where different products talk to each other, like Ampla, Mind Market, and some other applications which can be used, and they talk the common language. It's still at very early days, I believe, Dion, as well. So once that's been done, our aim is to deploy it through all those sites as well. And then considering the support factor, pretty much we have got a good team. We normally get a response within few hours. And I believe Dave is having a good time in UK, but Dave Armstrong is he's actually he's pretty much half minres, sorry to say. And then yeah, we got a good relationship going, vice versa with Christian as well. Been long days, been long hours as well, but yeah, we have got a good collaboration going on. And like I said, that's pretty much all. And also we have got, I think Fitz has joined our team as well now, and then pretty much we're working with that. Commercial, yeah, so we have kind of doing a Velox implementation model, which is pretty much, I think the term which CCLAS uses, that's pretty much quick and easy. We fit for purpose. So we do have one of the key kind of learnings we did that was before we kick off a project, we get the site team or who are the stakeholders involved into a workshop at Datamine offices. That actually is a big blessing because 30% or 40% of the configuration gets locked down during that phase. And I would suggest if anyone is going for greenfield, especially Vijay, you mentioned as well, I would suggest of doing that workshop beforehand because that actually saves us a lot of grief. So we normally spin up a requirement template, share it with the team, like an online document, ask them to fill it. We keep on nagging them. They sell to back off and all, but yeah, we keep on nagging them and getting all those information because that actually makes that sessions more practical. And then pretty much, and then we actually get them engaged now. And actually, we can see that there's already some good feedback coming from site, especially because the engagement we have from the stakeholders. So that's pretty much in short of why we went with CCLAS. Now, with the selection process, like any other product, we had pretty much had to go through functional capability, a technical kind of analysis, a vendor capability and cost effectiveness. Now, on the cost side, I think Graham and also Dion, we had a long discussion, and I think we went with a perpetual model, which was actually worked out pretty well. And that's actually site-based. Now, Graham did mention about using the cloud-based platform, but I'm not sure. I think that's a long way away. We will first finish few sites and then go with different models. But yeah, that's the features we had. It was a good commercial model, pre-built integration with lab equipments and Mind Market. Lab staff knows this, so it's actually easy for site to accept it and adopt it. And then it's pretty much easy for us for different current lab processes as well. So it kind of sinks in well. Now, this is pretty much in short how we went with the approach. So the first step, I would kindly recommend of anyone who is starting with a new lab site or transforming their in-house lab to a CCLAS is to do an audit, because during that audit, we find some of the equipments might need a special cable. So don't please go and buy an office work cheap $15 cable, because you might burn your motherboard and it might turn into some $100,000 bill, which was because we have been warned a few times. So even the cable costs $250, please do buy the proper ones. Then the second point is to give the infrastructure. Now, we always have a fight internally between the team, us as well, that those kind of servers, I would highly recommend of having them on site, not at your central offices here, because everyone loves Telstra, but Telstra sometimes do have outages. And during that time, you can't run the lab without having the servers in Perth. So we did have few instances where there was no connection, but having the servers on site, actually, they could operate without any downtime. And then the central one is to do the install and CCLAS server, and then the client on the workstations. Now, when the in-house labs are deployed, most of the time the vendors do come with their own workstations and they deploy it. Now, with the cyber requirements becoming more and more strict, especially, we actually have to go and continuously change all our workstations back to the MinRes ones or the IT ones. During that time, we break equipment. So I would say working with the vendors like XREF or TJ guys and making sure that, those adapters have been bought and they're all tested. So for the Onslow one, we actually did send our workstations to Panalytical so they could configure it and then they could ship it onto site. So it's possible. You just have to make that effort. So that's a good lesson learned, and that way it's cyber compliant as well. So you won't have anyone complaining and say you are a risk to the company. And then integrating with C-class equipments. Now that's actually a fun part, which I think most of us do underestimate. Now C-class, if a lab equipment is working, it doesn't mean that it works with C-class. There has to be a joint journey with the support team from C-class and also the lab staff. So just make sure that you put in those time, but definitely that first site audit is actually one of the key ones, which I would highly recommend. Next one, some of the fun parts we had. So I actually got a picture at the end, which I think will show us our pain points. Zebra printers, they always been an issue for us. The reason being they're different, and each lab we had a different requirement. We are actually kind of getting all those labels kind of standardized. So we did had the beads and also the sample labels within the same frame. That actually caused a bit of an issue. And then once we reach site, the site team always wants more information on those labels. So we had to actually transform from a barcode onto a QR code, and it worked. So make sure that whenever you are going for a scanner, they are compatible for the barcode and the QR code as well, because that's saves your time to go back and forth. And if I would recommend buying Zebra, no kind of any bias. The reason being they are pretty handy to program them. So for example, some of the TGs, when you scan, they might have to press F4 button or enter button. You can program them on this barcode. So the lab team just have to just scan and it goes to the next line. So they don't have to kind of switch between the keyboard and the scanner as well. So some of those are there. When you're going for your deployment, I would suggest if you have an in-house team, let them go to site, get them all prepped so that Datamine can come and do that. Otherwise, it's just a longer duration of deployment phase as well. Yeah, and good practice is definitely order a few extra labels and ribbons because you will definitely need them. I would say that. And then 3D barcode scanners is because I said that, it can read vice versa. It can read a barcode and also some the QR codes as well. So I think with that, I will send a fun, interesting part to Lan. Thank you, everyone.
That's Ashish to give me the hardest bit. All right. So just a quick rundown on who I am. So my name's Lan. I am what am I now? I'm the app support team lead for production applications and operationals. So one of my babies is CCLAS. It's been kindly handed over by Ashish. So I guess what we want to run through is one of the reasons why one of our end games and why we migrated over CCLAS for all our sites. So like Ashish has mentioned before, once upon a time ago when MRL was small and the share price was probably $2 and less than that, we were running all of Microsoft Excel, Access Database. There's no central storage, source of truth, that phrase. Reports were all in emails, etc. So one of the benefits of us moving to CCLAS is actually the CHD. So this is a simple example here on how we implemented the CHD for use in MinRes. So, we got our results here from the internal labs. We also get our data from SGS, so we won't be dropping them anytime too soon. And we bring it in to the CCLAS CHD. So for people who don't know what the acronym is, it's the CCLAS Historical Database. I think, Dion, is that correct? Yes. And then from there, I developed a couple of database views. Sorry for the technical term, to simplify it in order for us to publish it into Power BI. So what this enables us to do is actually, provide the data out, democratize it, and let the business use it, because you don't want an IT guy to be making lab decisions. That's a bad thing. So what I provide is a shared data service. I maintain it, and then obviously we give it to self-service whoever might need it. So the Mets, for example, mine operations, even the lab staff use it as a quick reference guide for bringing up the sample detail. Okay, so I've got a screenshot example here. I have blurred out all our numbers because apparently that's commercially sensitive, but you get the point. So it's a simple Power BI app, many reports. We split it by internal, external, and all people in corporate and obviously as well, if you're a Met and you know what you're doing, you can do graphs, you can do your comparisons, analysis, etc. Geos as well. The geologists like to use this data set and they bring it into their software as well, like Acuity. I'm sure there's a couple of others as well, for their analysis needs. All right. All right, so this is a more complicated example, and this is unfortunately my bread and butter. So CCLAS is part of our application landscape here in MinRes. So it's on the top left-hand corner there. So, we should still bring in our internal lab data, external lab data from geo to production, shipping we're looking into. But also we've got other data feeds in there. So like from our med accounting system, downtime accounting, our FMSs and the like. So we would have heard the term Industry 4.0, which is sort of like a common framework on how to communicate between all the different apps on a site. Just Google it or ask ChatGPT for more details. But however, we ingest that into our AWS platform. So it gives us a common area into which then it gives us the platform to integrate to other applications. So in this example here, if you want to imagine, my LIMS data goes into the cloud, spits it out via some files of B2ML at the moment into MindMarket. So not too sure if anyone has heard of MindMarket here before, but it's Datamine's other the Datamine suite. We use that for production accounting. So we apply the CCLAS results into transactions within a MindMarket for some bit of trickery, so we can actually identify where the ore goes through the mine process and come up with your results per stockpile. So full supply value chain pit to port. From there, we ingest that data, we extract that data out of MindMarket, we put into our production model, and then from there, with all that data, that makes it Power BI. So we pipe it into Power BI for reporting. So this enables the more corporate view of the world of our mine sites, and also enables us to do more different types of reporting as well, which CCLAS is a part of, so we can see our performance versus plan, operational performance, shipping performance, etc. So I go through all this. So before, like I mentioned before, once upon a time ago, we had disparate data silos. Information was only in emails. So if that person left, good luck getting it out. We had custom Excel spreadsheets, like Ashish mentioned earlier. Version control in Excel is quite interesting. I've also seen examples of Rube Goldbergian data manipulations. So even I look at the formulas going, what am I looking at? And also, we also get high latency due to human intervention. So, corporate wants a report, site, might take XYZ to report back. Okay. And, and also just to touch base on the version control issue, it's no source of truth, confusion, or what Excel to look at. So you might have many various final reports, various people, which one's correct, that kind of thing. All right, so after we implemented CCLAS and business processes around that as well, we've got centralized Power BI reports, for example. We have approved data sets available for integration for other third-party systems as needed. Obviously, we've given a wider audience to self-service analysis. Everything goes into MindMarket, so we have our auditable, traceable, accurate results, and also the information is more demand. We're quite agile at MinRes, so time is of the essence. So the low data latency is appreciated where we are. Okay, so what else is next? So what does the future hold for us? Oh, I'm blitzing through this. All right, so so online for our on-site iron project. So up in the northwest, located in the Ashburton hub. So on-site iron is our premier sort of mine, iron ore mine for MinRes. You would have heard on the news, we've got 35 MPTA, got the acronym, but we're also ramping up to 50 in due course. And with the sale price of iron ore going down, low cost is key. So we want low cost, long life operation, project economics, that kind of stuff. Good for the share price. With the enterprise LIMS rollout, so we've achieved our goal. We've implemented CCLAS for our iron ore and our lithium businesses. They are running successfully. I haven't heard too many complaints yet from a support point of view. Our end users are very happy with the product, so we're going to be rolling LIMS out to the rest of our sites, Onslow being part of that. And also investment in CCLAS LIMS with more valuable data. We're bringing additional capability to mine market. Okay. All right. And also we're working with our partners with Datamine, ETP, and ERDI. They're the same company, but that's all right. Where we're also aligning with the Industry 4.0 with the ISA 95 standard. So that will allow us in MinRes to have a fully integrated site from pit to port, data flowing nice and easily, and also with data flowing, with no restriction, with no human intervention, that gives us near real-time performance and dashboarding across operations. All right, so this is the famous photo that Ashish was mentioning earlier.
I will snow.
All right, so you want to finish this off, Ashish, or you want me to? Oh, great. All right, so our main takeaways. So improved lab operations. So our friend Mark here has been instrumental to the implementation. He was our subject matter expert, and without him, I think we would have floundered. Most definitely. Obviously enhanced quality control. We also had a lot of positive feedback from the labs teams as well. With their engagement, with their support throughout the whole process. We definitely had a successful CCLAS deployment. Anything to add on?
That's and actually, like I mentioned, it's actually very helpful to have a team available in the back. Sorry, it's always helpful to have a team available in the background as well, because actually that does help, especially response time. That helps the lab to adopt the system more. Yeah, that's pretty much a short and sweet update on how we are